Hello, my name is Matthew, and today is December 1st, which is the beginning of our read-along of the Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, and I'm super excited. This is one of my favorite novels by one of my favorite writers, and I'm looking forward to talking about the book and discussing it at length throughout the month. And I thought, as far as opening remarks, I would just talk about what the book is about and why I enjoy it so much. The first chapter, book one, is called The Story of a Certain Little Family, and that is one way to put it. We follow this family. It's Fyodor, the father, who is cruel and cold-hearted, debaucherous, and his oldest son, Dmitri, from his first wife, who is hot-tempered and has a bit of a violent streak. The middle son, Ivan, from his second wife, who is brooding and intellectual, and Alyosha, or Alexei, who is the youngest son from the second wife, who is naive and innocent, meek. And there's a violent incident that happens in this family in Russia in the 19th century. And there's a story that Dostoevsky wants to tell us. And in the preface of the book, there's an introduction by the author, by Dostoevsky. And he tells us that he wants to tell the story of Alexei, and he even asks, why would you be interested? What is so great about this particular person that we would want to spend all of this time reading about? And Dostoevsky is great because he basically just says, well, you have to read and see. He tells us that he had planned a great two-novel work, and that the whole book that we are about to read is just the first of the two, and the second one is the story that he really wants to tell. But in order to tell that story, we first have to get through this. And there's no second novel. It was never written. There's no manuscript. And it says so much about the structure and what fills these pages, because there's a story that Dostoevsky wants to tell us, but it requires a lot of explanation. He wants us to know, really understand all of the characters, all the principal people that we're about to meet, what they are like, what their history was like, what their thoughts are and how they feel, and also specific relationships and how they are all connected, and how each family member and people outside of the family, how they interact. And we have to know all of that really, really well, just to get to the part where Dostoevsky begins to tell the story. And I'll read the very first sentence of the book in this translation that I have, because he gives it all away, just in the first sentence. Alexei Fyodorovich Karamazov was the third son of a landowner in our district, Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov, so noted in his time, and even now still recollecting among us, for his tragic and fishy death, which occurred just 13 years ago, in which I shall report in its proper context. So, it's a patricide. We are beginning a murder mystery. We're told straight away that the father dies mysteriously, and then we start to learn about how terrible he is and how there's so many people that would have a lot of ill will towards him before we even get to the family. But we start to learn about his children, Dmitri, and his financial relationship with his father, and Ivan's kind of distant but oddly compelling relationship with his father, and Alexei, who is so assuring and reassuring, just a comforting presence that is nearly supernatural to everyone around him. And throughout this family drama, we get so many great interactions and discussions. There's big ideas of family and faith and religion and questions of morality and ethics and life and death and all of those things. But it's wrapped up in this really tightly wound story that is dramatic and thrilling and action-packed and emotional. So many of these characters are just bursting with energy, and they're so distinct and compelling in their own ways that one of the things you always hear when people read this book or talk about this book is, which of the brothers do you like more, that you relate to? The older brother who's always sort of passionate, Ivan who's always in these dark corners, kind of being moody and mysterious, or Alexei, who is a novice. We hear that he's a young boy in a monastery, and they all of these stories interweave. The beginning of the book, we spend a lot of time, Dostoevsky spends a lot of time introducing each character, and an incredible amount of pages, maybe, I don't know exactly, but maybe 200 pages of just introducing everyone, getting everybody on the board, and in a way that, without a doubt, you're going to know who all of these characters are. And in my opinion, my experience reading this book is that when you get to the point, when you get about a quarter or a third of the way through the book, and you finally just have all of your bearings, the story starts to accelerate, and it's a book that you just cannot put down. The all of the intrigue and drama, and all of the different things that happen with the characters, it's just fantastic. If you're reading along for this month, if you divided it up, the page count equally, it's about a little bit over 30 pages a day, and that's probably a good start to begin with. I feel really confident that anybody that's reading this book and gets to the 200-page mark and is still interested and invested in the story will suddenly have a book in their hands that they cannot put down. And it won't be 30 pages a day. It'll be 50 pages a day or 80 pages a day. And that page count will increase as the book goes along, because it's just so captivating. All of a sudden, you know all of these characters in a really intimate, visceral way. And the preface, Dostoevsky's preface, is just so great. He says, this is the story that I want to tell you. It's going to take a lot of work. There's a lot of explanation, context. If we can get all of that out of the way, we can finally have everybody on the same page. And the last line he says is, "And now to business." So then we go into the story. And it's perfect because it's a great story that couldn't be told without all of the additional material to make it a story that's understandable, to really get that gut punch. So it's a sort of a domestic drama of this family that is embroiled in a violent incident. So I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to talking about the book. This is just, like I said, opening remarks. This is Dostoevsky at the height of his powers. And Dostoevsky was one of the greatest writers that ever lived, writing at top form. It can't be anything else other than unbelievably good. I'm thrilled to be able to read it again and have people that I could talk to about it, and just have a whole month of going like, isn't this great? I hope so anyway. So and now down to business. Leave a comment if you would like, and read along. Please, everyone's welcome. The more, the merrier. And it should just be great fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, leave a comment if you would like. Thank you for watching, and take care.